Hi, this is Stacia, and I'm going to share a training game that I played on chess.com as part of my effort to reach 1800, which I've never done before. So, this game I played in the morning, almost never do that. It went e4, d4, d5. This is actually a newer move for me to play d5. I've played knight f6 like for a long time, like 4 years or more. But I've been trying d5, and but this transposed right back into my old repertoire when we went knight f3 and knight f6. And usually I see a London system from here, but my opponent played g3. This is fine. I think this is called the pseudo Catalan, or it might be like a King's Indian attack sort of thing. Okay, I like to play c6, bishop g2, bishop f5. I actually want to turn off the book moves. Hopefully that didn't mess up the screen. It probably did. It did. Okay, hang on a second. Do you know how to fix this? No worries there. Okay, we'll just do that. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Okay, we're good, and now we'll continue. Okay, so bishop f5. I like to get this move in if I can. It places the bishop outside the pawn chain. You do have to worry about like knight h4 stuff and losing the bishop pair. But I think before I castle, I'm okay with this because it could open up the h file for my rook, and I could go queenside still. So c3. I was happy to see this move. I think that white should play for c4. But when they play c3, they usually play for e4. So c3, not very ambitious. Computer agrees. e6. Yeah, and here he could go knight h4 if he wants to, but he simply castled. So I played h6. Now knight h4 is met by bishop h7, preserving my bishop. And the other reason I play this move is because e4 often comes with tempo on the bishop, so I don't really like him on the square. I think I need to tuck him away sooner rather than later. But I'm also behind on development, so yeah, like already the computer is saying queen b3 would be a move here. I'd probably go queen b6. And here's where c4 would have been useful, because then white could play c5 and go into those queenside pawn roll positions. I don't know what to call those, but they tend to be good for white. So, but here I don't think that can happen. So this is just a game still. Queen b6 works just fine. Okay, but he went a4. I don't understand this move. I guess just gaining space on the queen side. Maybe he's going to go b4 and play for a b5 break. Maybe that's the idea. Makes sense, actually. So, I guess that's his plan. I'm used to them playing for e4, so, but I should just develop, I think. Yeah, and this is very weird what he did. Like, I don't know why the knight came to a3. And I don't think it's a good move. So, I mean, if he's rerouting, I think the knight just belongs here, because if he's rerouting to c2, I'm not sure what's so great about this either. The knight's going to have to come up, I guess. That would block the e pawn. So I don't know. I'm not loving this knight a3 move. Computer agrees. It says instead he should just go a5. Yeah, that gains more space. Now my b pawn's weak forever, I think. So I agree with the computer. Okay, so I simply went bishop e7. There. Okay, I brought my knight to the best square. I do like my position here. My opponent was 1700, by the way, and I'm just about 1700 again. So this is a good game to try and break 1700 by beating one. Castles, okay. And the knight does come to e3. A bit surprising. I can simply retreat my bishop. I thought about bishop e4 here, which the computer does want. But I'm not sure what the point would be. Yeah, and then the computer wants to play c4 or a5. Okay, I keep looking at this, so I'm going to turn the engine off for a minute. I got to stop doing that and come up with conclusions first, and then we turn on the engine to check. Okay. I thought bishop h7 made sense, so I think this move is fine. And then b4. So this is his plan to push the pawns on the queen side. I'm not sure where his dark square bishop is going yet. He might go to b2 and he might go to this square, a3. Neither one looks very threatening to me. Yeah, and I kind of understand, like, if white can get in this break and start to weaken, like break down this structure, then this bishop could become very good. But I feel like white's a long way from that. So this is a pretty slow plan. So let's see. So I decided I would go stick my knight on a center square. I think that's probably the best move. Let's see if it is. No, computer says a5 or queen c7. a5. Let's see if I can understand this move. So that's a pawn break. If he takes, we take with the queen. And we're on this. Okay, so that's nice. If he pushes past, we can take. Now I have a pass pawn. The c pawn is weak. Okay, interesting. And what if he does nothing? Or does something else? Like, computer is saying queen b3 might be the best move. Then we just leave the structure. We leave the tension. It says rook e8, and then black should play b takes a5. Oh, attacking this. Huh. And we allow this move because this wins, apparently. So if he takes the pawn, what happens? If he takes the pawn, we have rook c8. I wonder if the queen's just totally trapped now. I think so. Oh, they can't go there because of the pin. I see. Nice. Wow, that's a nice little variation for us. So this a5 move and this a5 plan, it's something that I've never really understood, like these rook pawn moves and rook pawn breaks, and they're like especially popular now because of AlphaZero and Leela, which those new neural network engines love these moves, and they're starting to be played at the top level more. So yeah, I'm going to use this game to learn about the a5 push. I think that's really good. I'm going to make a flashcard of that plan. Hope you enjoyed that as well. Now let's move on with the game. Knight e5 is also totally fine. And given this is a rapid game, you know, I'm trying to not get way behind on the clock. So here I still had 14 minutes, which is nice. That means I'm playing fairly quickly. In the opening, I think you pretty much got to do that in these rapid games. Okay, and I went queen c7. So here I was trying to decide what my middle game plan should be, and I thought I would go for an e5 break. I thought that would be possible. The other thing I could do is go for f5 and maybe f4. So these two ideas or what I had in mind. So I thought queen c7 would help with the e5 break. Plus connect the rooks, like I tell my kid students. Okay, so he played this move. This move looks weird to me. I'm not sure what it's doing. I guess the knight is going to hop into e5. Yeah, it makes sense because that knight is very awkward on e3, blocking the e-pawn like that. I think its position opens. That's not a good place for the knight. So this move makes sense to me. Yeah, and then I decided to go with the f5 plan. So let's see what the computer says. It says black's still better, so this plan is okay, but it still likes a5 better, and it likes knight b6, which I thought about knight b6. I thought knight b6 would be met by knight e5, and now I can't really hop in there anymore. Oh, but it says then play a5. Yeah, because we'd have to stop a5 then if we're going to play like this. So this a5 plan is the best plan. All right, so let's look. a5. If he takes, we take with the queen. We're on this. That I understand. If he pushes past, we take. Black is winning, it says. So what am I not seeing? Oh, well, actually, this opened up the queen on here. So if this, I'd be worried about pins. So we can't take it yet, I don't think. But then it says go knight b6. This is a pass pawn now. Yeah, so I guess the point is that we have a nice pawn structure here. This pawn is weak, but it looks really hard to get to. This pawn is passed, and the white pawn structure looks weird because he has this backwards c-pawn. So this does look nice. Yeah, I think white would want to go for e4, but we have stopped that plan by sticking the knight on e4. So wow, this a5 move I'm learning is quite good. Okay, we're going to continue again. So f5, he did jump the knight in. I thought I should simply take. This knight is very well placed. This knight is weird. I didn't see. I saw knight b6, but not with a5 involved. So I thought I should just trade it. Computer agrees. He did take with the knight. That's an improving move for him. And the downside of f5, of course, is that I don't have f6 to kick out the knight anymore. So that knight is going to stay there. I was planning on trading him off. I thought f4 might be played, but that's not a good move. Okay. Here he went knight d3. A lot of knight moves by my opponent. Probably too many. Yeah, I'm thinking just his plans were a little slow. That's probably why black's slightly better here. But it is a closed position, so he can get away with this. Okay, knight d6 by me. Okay, I'm going for the c4 square. That square just looks awesome. I don't want him to get this break in. I want this pawn to stay weak. Then I'm attacking the bishop. The bishop might have to retreat to the back row. And then I think the knight's just well placed on c4. Yeah, so he did that as a, what do you call it? Preliminary? I can't remember the word. Prophylaxis. Okay, prophylaxis. Okay, jump the knight in. Wow, computer likes g5 here. I did consider this plan. I think I can play this way because I've got so many pieces by my king. The queen can also swing over, so I could launch a kingside attack. I might even play h5, h4, or I might play f4. But I think either way could be viable here. So I did consider that move, but I went with this. Sticking the knight in a good square. Yeah, and he probably should play bishop f4 here. That's what I thought he should do. But he played knight to f4. Which is kind of begging me to play g5. I don't believe I did that. Oh, I played e5. Okay. So the e5 pawn break here is not so good. And I can understand that, but I felt like I don't want to leave this pawn weak. Oh, I know why it's not good. This is where I blundered. I must have a blind spot for this. Yeah, I totally didn't see like this big threat. You guys are probably seeing it like, come on, Stacia. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't see this move. But that is a fork. So, yeah, this is like number 1 on my checklist. So I haven't been doing my checklist for a long time, but I think I might get back into that a little bit. Just to reinforce the idea that when your opponent moves a piece, check what he's attacking. You know, you should see this move and see that it's a fork. But I didn't even look at that. I just played e5. So he did fork me. Now, some people would resign in this position, but I'm not one of them. I think you should fight to the end. And not only that, I'm going in exchange down. I still have my 2 bishops. I still have an awesome knight. I think I do have some compensation for the exchange. It is going to also bring my rook into the game. So I played here. He did take, and take. And after bishop takes, the computer does agree with me. It says white is like slightly better. So that means I do have compensation. So yeah, never resign. B5 was played. I was expecting this pawn break, and I think it's good. I cannot take the pawn, or he would take here with check. That probably is winning, because it will win this next. And then my compensation is gone. I'm probably just lost. But I played this move. So I got a pawn back. That attacks the rook. He played rook to a2. I'm also down on the clock now. My opponent has 14 minutes. I have 8 minutes. Rook to e8 I played. Not sure I like this move in hindsight. It doesn't really threaten the pawn because the rook is guarding it already. I was considering going for f4, but it seems like it's not the right time yet. Yeah, perhaps I didn't really know what to do here. Computer says bishop b4. I do end up playing that move later with the idea of c5. Or even a5. Okay, but I played this. He took, takes. Queen b3. Computer says rook c2 is very strong here. Rook c2 attacks the bishop. I would have gone here. Oh, he has check. And if takes, what is going on here? Oh, that undermines everything, and it's a fork. So yeah, this is a problem. The bishop and the queen are lined up on here. Wow. So because of that, he can play rook c2, or he could take here first with the bishop. Takes, rook c2. The bishop moves out of the way, and then the knight's under attack. Wow, pretty interesting. All right, so there was definitely a tactic we both missed. Queen b3 was played instead. Now there is no tactic. The queen's not on the d5 square anymore. So I think this move is fine for me because the bishop will be well placed. The queen's guarding it for now, but soon he will be propped up by a pawn. Now rook c2. So wow, the power of move order, you know? Like rook c2 is basically winning in this position. Because after bishop b6, which I did want to play, there's this tactic which wins. But instead, he played queen b3 first and then rook c2. And now it's just a slight edge for white. Yeah, so move order, it's so interesting that one little change in move order can be change the game from slightly better to winning. Crazy, right? But I wasn't aware of those tactics at all. Okay, I think a5 is a good move, but computer doesn't think so. It likes king h8, just wants to get out of this stuff. Yeah, so it says rook takes c4 is a move. It's not winning, it's just a move. Probably because of the same stuff with d5. Like if takes, I could take, then check, then king h8, and I lose this pawn. Yeah, something like this happens in the game. So let's have a look. a5, he played bishop f4. I went g5. The bishop came back. Yeah, I don't know if f4 is good. But it is a discovery on the rook. So it does beg white to sack the exchange back and do that variation, which white is going to win this pawn. But I kind of wanted them to sack the exchange back because I felt like that would give me a better chance to hold. So this did happen. One good exchange sack deserves another, right? Even though mine was a blunder. Okay, but we'll leave that out. Okay, and queen e6. So I'm saying you can take my pawn, but I'll probably take your pawn. And if you allow the queen trade, I'll probably trade queens. Now, I should trade queens here. I think it's pretty obvious because my king is not safe and their king is safe. So a queen trade will be in my favor. I do realize I'm down a pawn here, but with the rooks and the bishops on the board, I think I have drawing chances here. Maybe even winning chances because it could get tricky. Like it's still a game of chess. Okay, so they took there, and yeah, I'm just down a pawn now. And this could be tricky. Like, for example, I really want to put my rook here and try to collect this pawn, but that would be met by bishop check, winning the rook. So I have to be careful where I step. I played a5 to save that pawn. I don't think he should bring the king up here. I thought he should. What was I thinking? I was scared of something here. Oh, I was afraid of this move. That would fork my rook and my pawn. I cannot go here, it's guarded. I cannot go here because, like I said, check and win the rook. So I thought that move would be quite good and challenging to meet. Computer says go rook e7 here, which I don't understand, or rook c2. So I guess lose the pawn. Let's see what it wants here. I guess we're probably going to check the king. It says bishop c2. Oh, we're going to try to collect the pawn. Oh, so rook e7 stops the it stops the bishop from coming back in the game to these squares. It does look like the rook can still guard it. Okay, anyway, let's go forward with the game. He didn't play that move. He played king to g2. Getting his king up in the ending, although it feels a little early to me. Could be wrong. Let's see what the computer wants. No, the computer wants bishop f3, the move I saw. Okay, king g2. So I decided to trade off bishops. Computer likes it. I just thought this is probably a low-rated player move. I mean, it turns out that it's strong, but I was just trying to trade the bishops off so that my rook would be better placed, and with the light square bishop gone, I could try to get this pawn. So I guess that plan is good. Okay, so he brought that up. Now I just need to stand the light squares now. If I do that, there's not that many tricks. Okay, he defended his pawn. Time to bring the king up, I think. Always bring the king up in the ending. So I was feeling pretty good here. I'm down a pawn, but I think what I should do is try to either trade into a drawn ending, or otherwise just keep the rooks on the board, keep stuff on the board, because if this were a king and pawn ending, I'd probably lose it because of the extra pawn. So I can just keep stuff on the board now, and I could always try to get an ending with this pawn and this bishop too, because the bishop doesn't control the queening square, but unfortunately he does control the queening square for these two pawns. So that just means that I probably can't sack my my pieces and leave one of these pawns and the bishop, because that would still be winning for white. Okay, yeah, and kind of an anticlimactic ending. So my opponent started disconnecting at this point of the game, even though he had a full 4 bars. So I was like, oh no, another one of these people that start checking the engine at the end. I don't want my mind to go there, but I'm just being honest that it does, because I have seen that happen, and it's really annoying. So I don't know if he checked the engine and saw this position was a draw now, but he had me like waiting and waiting, and you know, it would like tick down and say opponent's going to resign in 2 minutes, and it would get all the way down to like 10 seconds, and then he'd make a move, and it was annoying. So I did just kind of offer a draw at this point of the game, which I think is a fair result, and he accepted it. So there you go. So like I was saying before, never resign. I blundered a knight fork, lost the exchange, and lived to tell about it. Still managed to get the draw. I think that's part of what makes me a stronger player than I was when I was like 1500. I don't think I knew how to do that. So I do want to look at the highlights of the game like I always do. Let's make sure the screen looks okay. Okay, we're looking at the chess.com version of summary. So it says F5 is a missed win. Wow. So is it the A5 plan? Missed win? Why would it say missed win here? Wow, A5 is just winning. Wow, okay. Yeah, I still don't understand, even though we looked at this. I don't understand how it's that strong. But that is going to be what I take out of this game. Doesn't like my e5 push, which to me looked kind of natural. So instead, oh, the reason is the blunder. Wow, I really have a blind spot for this. Okay, so how do we best defend the how do we best defend this? I might just go queen d6 and play e5 next. Computer is thinking. It says black has a slight edge, so it likes this move, but the best move is that one. So I think this is in conjunction with the g5 plan. So g5, f4, and we're probably going to play that way. Yeah, because I could then play the move h5 next. So g5, h5. Oh, this also stops. Yeah, it stops knight h5. So this must have to do with g5. Okay. Yeah, cool. I mean, these are plans that I didn't used to know. I used to only play d-pawn chess. And so my plans were very standard. And I'm still like sticking to them, I notice, even though I'm at least seeing the other plans now. But I will start playing them at some point, I think. Yeah, I didn't know what to do here. I think here, what was I supposed to do? Oh, I have to dodge that crazy tactic, I think. So maybe king h8. It says king h8 is best. Okay, cool. Yeah, anytime you have your king on this open diagonal, especially lined up with a queen, then you want to just step out of that. So I considered that during the game, but I forgot about it at this point. Okay, it says bishop e4 was best and was a game changer. Critical move, I found the only good move. It's a pretty obvious one. Okay, I found the only good move. Taking a pawn, okay. Only good move. This was just maintaining pressure on the pawn. Yeah, and here it turned out to be a draw. Wow. Okay, so I know you guys can't see the report. I'm actually going to see if I can pull it up on here. Just for fun. Mostly because I'm going to work after this and I probably don't want to. No, I actually do want to, but... Why can't I adjust this? If you're still with me, kudos to you. Wow, it is not letting me grab the... There we go, finally. Okay, here we go. So, this is the final result of the game. So you can see that I did get a very nice advantage out of the opening. Here is where I needed to find that A5 plan. That would have been a winning plan. So I'm going to study that like crazy. Instead, my plans weren't as good. Then I actually played my normal plans, which turned out to give white an edge. Then I missed the tactics, but so did white. And then even though white had an extra pawn, eventually their advantage fizzled. So I did play with more accuracy than them. And let's see what the move count is. So if I go to report, Yeah, it turns out that I had 1 inaccuracy, 2 mistakes, 1 missed win. Huh. Not so bad. I can live with this game. But unfortunately, since it was just a draw, I didn't break 1700 again. So I'll be trying again very soon. So hope you enjoyed the game and learned something. And I'll be back with more chess. And hopefully I'll be on camera more. But I didn't feel like it today. Sorry. All right. Bye.